Hey guys, KingBars06 here, we're back with another video. In this one, you guys will be seeing the drawing of Mount Lady from My Hero Academia. By the way, I am loving Season 7 so far, but this drawing was made before Season 7, so just keep that in mind. So, during the sketching process, like I said before, this is before Season 7, but lately I've been doing a lot of My Hero Academia work. In fact, the next 5 speed paints are all My Hero Academia related. One thing I want to mention about the speed paints is because they're going slowly, what I'm going to be doing is by the time you see this video, you guys will be able to check out my other social medias, Twitter, Newgrounds, DeviantArt, and if you join the Discord server, you can see my artwork there. I'm going to release my artworks when I finish them on those social medias, and then I'll have separate posts/tweets whenever I'm actually upload the speed paints, because if I don't do that, then you guys won't be seeing any of the artwork until way later, even though a lot of this artwork I've finished throughout the months of April through June. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But let's get back to the sketch at hand. So the main thing with the sketch is I wanted to do perspective. I decided on the low angle perspective. With Mount Lady, my first ever drawing in Mount Lady, I did low angles perspective. If you guys remember from, I believe it was the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020, during the time where my art evolved into something that I actually started liking the result of. But in this one, I did a low angle perspective to essentially emphasize the fact that she makes herself giant, that she has a gigantification quirk. Obviously, in the series, she's not the only one who can just make herself bigger. In Season 4, we saw a couple of villains who can do that. In Ryukyu, who runs the Ryukyu agency that Hado, Uraraka, and Asui all did their work studies for. So we're familiar with that sort of thing. So that is why I did a low angle perspective, and if I decide to draw Mount Lady again, and I decided to do a dynamic piece, I might do a high angle shot as well, because it should be able to do the same job. So in my opinion, I think I've got a handle on low angle perspective. A high angle perspective I don't do as often, but I'm getting used to using basic shapes and moving those shapes and manipulating them for whatever perspective that I want. I'm getting a lot more confident in the way that I draw things, and my process is just becoming more streamlined. So with that, that's really it with the sketch. You guys will hear me again for the final drawing. So when it came to the background, I was going for kind of like a fisheye perspective. The buildings were a little bit of a struggle, but I've referenced My Hero Academia for backgrounds, building backgrounds before, because My Hero Academia is one of those series that takes a place in cities. The setting is generally a big city. Some of the other series where I think the backgrounds are amazing are One Piece, The Greatest Fictional Work in Existence, and Fire Force. But with those, you don't really see much of the city. Well, I guess in Fire Force you do, but when I'm looking at Fire Force, I mostly pay attention to the environmental backgrounds. And with One Piece, most places aren't modernized, except for Egghead, which is actually, it's not modernized, it's actually futuristic, for obvious reasons. I'm not going to really spoil anything about that. So yeah, I did some experimenting. If you guys remember when I created Aju Blaka back in 2023, I did kind of the fisheye perspective thing for a full drawing that I made of her. So I had a little bit of practice, and obviously with these buildings, I wanted to use them to emphasize the perspective more and make things more dynamic. It was a struggle, but I think I pulled something off. In the final work, there aren't any clouds. I think maybe I should have done that, but I wanted the main focus to be Mount Lady, and I think if I added clouds, it would have, for a lack of a better term, clouded up the image. So I didn't do that. I did have to make some adjustments between the sketch and the final work to make the pose itself more dynamic. I bent the right leg so it's clear that she's walking, and the walk itself is just overall better pose. And then the arms have additional movement to convey that action more in comparison to the original sketch. And I also muted the colors of Mountain Lady's costume in comparison to what they actually look like in the show. It was just a decision I did in the moment. Maybe next time I wouldn't do that, so that way she stands out more from the background. But at the same time, I didn't want her standing out so much that she looks like she shouldn't be there whatsoever. So yeah, in terms of the coloring, it's pretty simplistic, normal stuff. As you guys have seen, I reference Akai Riot and other artists when it comes to pretty much everything I do art-wise. I use the reference window so you guys don't see the actual references I'm using. So if you want to see any references, just let me know. I can show them on Discord or anywhere else. And I use the same kind of filters, hard light. I'm not sure if I added overlay in this one. I actually probably did. The thing with overlay is it allows you to use a color to sort of harmonize the image as a whole and make sure that it's clear that the character in the background belong. It kind of connects the character in the background if you made them like just too distant color-wise and value-wise. Well, in terms of values, you do want to make sure that they are different, so that way you can see the character stands out from the background, but you don't want it to be the character stands out so much that they don't belong in the scene whatsoever, which is why overlay is good. You can use one color to harmonize the image a little bit. There is actually a speed paint that I made that became 10 times better when I used overlay to do such a thing, so maybe I'll make a tutorial on it. None of you have asked me for a tutorial, but I'm thinking I might spread out the type of content I've done. I've been doing digital art actively for more than 5 years now, a little over 5 years, so I have plenty of wisdom to share. I consider my work to be of professional quality, so yeah, if there's anything you guys want to know, then let me know. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video or enjoy my overall content, please hit the like button and subscribe. Also, if you want to keep up with what I'm doing off camera, check out my Discord, Newgrounds, Twitter or X, DeviantArt, and anywhere I am on the internet. All of the links should be in the description. Deuces.